The Persona franchise is a bit of a mixed bag in terms of spin-offs when it comes to consistency and quality of these games. The Arena series is a pretty good little spin-off series with a lot of love put into the art, gameplay, and campaign of the game. I think they really nailed the idea of how to pull off a Persona-based fighting game spin-off series. The same can't really be said for the dancing series though. I find the newer Persona dancing games to be pretty mediocre and generally to be more run-of-the-mill rhythm games. I've actually reviewed the Persona 5 dancing game on another person's channel who will be joining me in this review today. WeebaLu is this really great review and MMD content creator who does really well spoken and thought out videos, with my personal favorite of hers being a review of the indie game OMORI. Me and her are kind of just reviewing all the games one by one and giving our own little individual reviews on each of the titles. I hope you guys are interested because this will be my last one. I am Sleep and welcome to Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Persona 4 Dancing is a bit of an ambitious title compared to your average rhythm game title. Something included in this amazing package of a game is a whole ass campaign with a full-fledged narrative that makes for a fun, interesting, and unique spin on a genre that I haven't personally seen before. I know what you might be thinking, a story mode and a spin-off rhythm game based on Persona? What kind of plot could this be? Well, let's get into it. Taking place roughly a month following the golden ending of Persona 4 Golden, Rise in the middle of her return to the idol industry asks all of her other friends to dance alongside her in their upcoming Love Meets Bonds festival. Yu, joined by a once again recasted Naoto Shirogane, joins up with Rise at her dance studio and is introduced to fellow idol Konami with her idol group Konami Kitchen, who is mysteriously gone missing. Looking into the rumors surrounding a video that shows up on the LMB website at midnight showing a dead idol similar to something like The Ring, Yu, Rise, and Naoto check out the video themselves and are sucked into the Midnight Stage, a world similar to the TV world. There, they discover a mysterious entity who is using these ribbons and a song to force shadows to form a bond with them, effectively brainwashing anyone who comes in contact with the ribbons. After establishing the cast is unable to use violence to this world, the group discovers in a really fucking cheesy way that they can use the power of friendship and fucking breakdance the shadows to express themselves, thus freeing them from the voice's control. The gameplay segments are relatively simple and similar to other games in the franchise, with different notes being assigned to different buttons. The game has this somewhat interesting scratch feature that mixes up the gameplay and works as this more out of the way button you have to press from time to time. I think something that really shines through this game is the remixes though, as they feel fresh and interesting, with some of them I even prefer over the originals. Some of the highlights like the Snowflakes and the Reach Out for the Truth remixes come to mind when I'm talking about this. It's generally a pretty solid rhythm game experience gameplay wise. Let's see what my friend and fellow YouTuber Lu has to say about the game up to this point though.
Hey everyone, Lu here. Now, I'm pretty much a newbie in the Persona fandom. I got into the series through Persona 5, and I'm slowly chipping away at Persona 4. With that said though, I actually do like Persona 4 dancing a lot more than I do Persona 5 dancing. I think one of the reasons that I like this game more than Persona 5 dancing is because it has an actual story mode. And while I'm not fully finished with the game, I have to say that I actually really like the story. I think it's like a really interesting little epilogue chapter, so to speak, of the original Persona 4. The gameplay though is still a bit of a miss for me. I feel like the gameplay for the Persona dancing games as a whole is not exactly well suited for a console. This is because the layout is a giant circle, and when you're watching this on a big monitor or a big TV, then it's really hard to focus on the directional buttons, because at some point you just kind of end up feeling like you're going to go cross-eyed from looking at one side of the screen to the other. I do feel though that this game would actually work really well on the Nintendo Switch, especially since the Switch also has a touchpad, so that would also make this gameplay a lot easier. Also, I hate how pricey the DLC is for all these games. Like, the prices for just one song and one costume is just ridiculous to me. I mean, $6 in Project Diva gets me like 4 songs and 5 costumes I can use anywhere I want. And as a Vocaloid fan, I really wish that song was in Japanese instead of English, because Hatsune Miku V3 English is just fucking yikes. But besides those very light critiques, which honestly isn't much to me, I actually really liked this game. I also just really like the aesthetics of Persona 4. I know the story takes place in like the mid to late 2000s, but I have to say that like the aesthetics of Persona 4 feel very 70s to me, and I absolutely love it. Well, that's it for my part. Back to you, Sleep.
Thanks, Lou, for hopping on by. Her channel will be linked in the description, by the way, so I'd recommend you guys check her out if you're into like rhythm games or a couple of RPGs, indie games. She makes some good content. Let's move on with the plot, though. The next day, the rest of the investigation team gather at the dance studio, where the mysterious voice attempts to pull Kanami into the midnight stage, but ends up grabbing producer Kyoko Uchimizu after she sacrifices herself to save the idol. This is when the investigation team hops into the other world and splits up in order to rescue the captured members of the Kanami kitchen as the voice attempts to brainwash them. This is when the game kind of goes into a bit of a story loop as each member is rescued and taken to the safe dressing room, where the team discovers pages from a diary bit by bit, encountering Ichimuzu as well. After saving most of the idol group, the investigation team deduced that the other world is somehow tied to the deceased idol Yuku Osada, who hung herself years ago. Back in the real world, Kanami comes across Dojima and Nanako, who are worried about the whereabouts of Yu and his friends. As Dojima investigates the situation around Kanami and looks into the strange circumstances surrounding the incident, Nanako has this fun little side arc where she gets all this recognition for her dancing talent and gets to appear along Kanami in the LMB festival, which is really adorable and awesome. On the day of the big performance, Kanami experiences painful flashbacks as she ponders over the lyrics of her upcoming song, which is originally intended for the dead idol Yuko. This is when Kanami eventually discovers that the diary she had been carrying through most of the game that she's been pondering over belonged to Yuko. This is when it's revealed that Kanami actually watched Yuko commit suicide many years ago. This traumatized her really badly and became these really repressed memories. Kanami, in utter shock over this revelation, is overcome by despair and pulled into the midnight stage. Back in the midnight stage, Yu and the others discover the song sung by the Shadows, a reverse version of the earlier mentioned song meant for the dead idol. This is when the team discovers the voice that's been pulling people into the shadow world is actually the shadow version of Kanami, who has pulled the real Kanami along with the entire audience of the real world performance into the midnight stage. Although the team manages to save Kanami, the shadow Kanami is revealed to be another fucking god in this franchise wanting to mess with humanity again. This time with the plan to bond itself with the rest of humanity and, like, basically mind controlling them. It's fucking stupid. Using persona plot bullshit, Rise combines their strength with Kanami and the Kanami Kitchen Girls to power up her persona, transforming it into a giant stage for Yu and their friends to dance on so they can unleash the most powerful force in this entire franchise, the power of friendship and bullshit writing. After doing the stanky leg on the god, the entity releases everyone and returns them to the real world, where Kanami prepares to finish off the festival with a performance of the song from the dead idol and ending the game. This story, while not the most amazing in terms of narratives, has a lot of surprisingly dark and interesting ideas that it explores in its relatively short run, putting in all this effort into something as simple as a fucking rhythm game so it has fun original characters and plot points is something I find really admirable and really makes me wish they put this kind of effort into the newer entries in the dance and spin-offs. Besides that, the rest of the game is a pretty standard dance game with about as much content as the entirety of the other two games, with a fuck ton more songs and fun costume rewards from points you earn from completing each song. The game is a very, very good package, and I would highly recommend it to those who both like Persona and rhythm games. It's a pretty damn good game. Only issue is getting it nowadays on modern platforms because for whatever fucking reason, Atlus decided to make the game only available through a collection. It's a bit weird and feels like the company is trying to boost the sales of the other two less enjoyable games. But that's about it in terms of what I wanted to cover from this game. Special thanks to WeebaLu for her contribution to this review. Her channel will be linked in the description, and I would highly recommend you check her out. She makes some good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun collaboration with another YouTuber, and hope to see you again. I am Sleep, and I'll see you next time. See ya!